Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. And to be honest, for me, the past few days have been pretty rough. Uh, I hurt my Achilles in the gym a few days ago. That was really rough because you guys know that I said that working out and getting back in shape is going to be top priority. Talked about it in my update video. So that was a huge bummer, and I just couldn't believe that would happen. I was like, wow, what are the odds? So a little bummed about that, but it's like, okay, whatever, it's chill. And then on my way to record the Snark Tank with Chris Ray Gun and Tom Sweeney, I'm at the Dunkin' Donuts to get an iced coffee. I check my Instagram and I see a post from Josh Peck from Drake and Josh, a black and white picture of Kobe Bryant, and then saying something along the lines like, like speaking as if he's gone. And I'm thinking, no way, like that, there's no way. And then, but at the same time, it's like, why would he joke about that? Like, no, that's something silly that would tank his career or whatever he's doing. And so I went to Twitter and I saw it on trending that it was true. Kobe Bryant, he passed away in a helicopter crash. And then it wasn't until later I found out that his daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, was with him. And then there was just a bunch of people that passed away. So it was like really unfortunate. I could not believe it. It was one of those things that like you can't believe it because of just how larger than life Kobe Bryant is. And you just can't believe it because he was so young. 41, that is so insanely young. Just retired from the NBA just a few years ago. Just enjoying his retirement, and then this happens. So it was pretty insane. Obviously really upsetting. As I'm recording this a few hours ago, I went to the Staples Center to just, pay my respects. I was with my buddy. Huge, like way bigger of a Laker fan than I am, and I'm a big Laker fan. And so Kobe meant a lot to me, man. Like, he wasn't just a basketball player, he transcended basketball. Like, seriously, he was like a mentor. His Mamba mentality, just that killer instinct and that drive, and to be the hardest working person to just always outwork everybody, is something that really did inspire me. And it's something that, like, I feel like because of this and to honor him, I really need to work even like much harder than I've been, because I've been slacking off quite a bit. You guys know this. But that being said, welcome to this episode of Twitter Trash. I'm not going to talk about Kobe Bryant the entire time. This is going to be a normal episode, but appropriately we are going to talk about Kobe Bryant in a few tweets because it's Twitter. And Twitter is a cesspool, and people always got to put their garbage on there, and they always have to disrespect the dead. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So I stumbled upon this tweet from Chris Ray Gun's Twitter account. If I was Kobe Bryant, I simply would have used my immense wealth and power to pay for a safer mode of transit, like a train. Don't really need to say much about her because Chris pretty much bodied her. Kobe Bryant, and thousands more every year, could have lived if we all rode trains everywhere. Friendly reminder that being glib about the death of multimillionaire rapists is actually a good thing and a prerequisite to being a leftist, and you all know that because you do it all the time when the aforementioned celebrity's face isn't tattooed on your inner thigh. So I've stumbled upon this waste of oxygen's tweets every now and then. I usually don't care for them. He's just one of those progressive ideologues that thinks he's on the right side of history, therefore it gives him a pass to be a complete piece of shit to everyone he doesn't like. I can't stand people like that. I can always be, hey, I disagree with your thoughts. I disagree with your opinions, but I can still be cordial. He's not one of those guys. He's one of those pieces of shit that are always going to poke you and always going to just be really very cunty because, he's not very satisfied with his life. And hey, I think that's like 98% of Twitter. Maybe if Kobe Bryant stanned Luna, he wouldn't have died. And of course, the K-pop stans are never far behind. They're always there, doesn't matter what it is, something tragic or terrible happens, there's gonna be one of those stupid fucking fan cams and some Korean fucking person just dancing around and then somebody saying something insanely stupid. Remember, 98% of Twitter. And now, let's get a little conspiratorial. They sacrificed Kobe the morning after the biggest ritual of the year last night, Grammys, and right after LeBron passes him in points. And we never ever hear of people dying in helicopter/plane crashes except celebs. You gonna tell me the Illuminati didn't just sacrifice Kobe? No. It's been a while since I've heard about the Illuminati being in control of all this stuff and pulling the strings and all this shit. It's always nice to hear these people kind of spring back up when it counts. So many black folk end up quote unquote dead via planes. That's not strange to y'all? I don't even know what to say to that. Kobe Bryant was a planned killing, just like they tried to get me. I dodged that ambush. Don't trust nobody. This a big, dirty industry. Well, damn, it must be true now because we have a blue check mark. This dude is verified, and you know what that means. They are the arbiters of truth and knowledge. So, Illuminati confirmed. Now, I'm not going to go through all the toxic stuff that was posted. There's enough of it. They don't need a bunch of attention. But one thing that I do want to pinpoint, and one thing that I think is really gross, something that just keeps being brought up by news reporters, just journalists, whatnot, and it's always about that dark case, you know, the infamous court case involving sexual assault that he was not convicted of. It was all dismissed, settled, all that dumb bullshit. And the thing is, it's always about the headlines, right? And it's always about guilty until proven innocent. Once you hear you're accused of sexual assault or anything like that, you're guilty. That's all that matters. And nobody wants to do any other research to look into it further. No one wants to follow up and see what actually happened. And this keeps happening with these pieces of shit. There is a post on Reddit that's been circulating around, really just compiling all of the aftermath and really just following up with and dismissing a lot of accusations, a lot of bullshit that's been levied against him. And so I'm going to leave it in the description so you guys can check it for yourselves. You know, don't take my word for it. Don't take these retards' word for it. Go look at the evidence that is presented, and then you tell me if this dude is guilty. I mean, obviously he's guilty of adultery, but that's not what we're talking about here. All right, we're done with that. Rest in peace, Kobe. That's all I'm going to say. We're moving on. Hey, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Gamergate is being brought up again. I'm wondering if Joker being nominated is one of the triumphs of Gamergate. Ah, I see what you did there, sir. Very, very cute. That was adorable. Gamergate happened because a group of mostly middle-class white dudes built an identity around geek culture and didn't like feeling their hobbies were infiltrated by women / POC / the gays. It was a result of a culture that told people they could find identities via consumption. I can't believe that this is still being peddled. Fucking, what is it, 6 years later now? We're going on 6 years? I remember when we used to say, wow, Gamergate was like 4 years ago. Shut up about it. Oh, we're going on 6. And they just won't stop. They took an extremely hard L. All of these idiots just keep lying their asses off. They're doing the whole thing like, say, remember, who was it? Was it Joseph Goebbels? I can't remember who it was. Saying like you repeat a lie enough and then it becomes true. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But it's like that. Keep spreading the lie. Keep telling people. And hey, it is working to some extent. There's a lot of people that do believe this bullshit. And because they're too fucking lazy to look for the truth. They don't care about what people are actually passionate about. And look, what did you know? Shoe on Head replied with the truth. Because, she's a pretty decent human being. No, that's a different thing. It was game journals versus consumers. Journals claiming gaming is dead, and your white men mad about titties lol. The erasure of women / POC involved what you're doing now by the media and journals is what dragged it on. It was babies first, fuck the media. One of these days, I'm gonna be a grandpa, right? I don't know how many decades it's gonna take for me to be a grandpa, but it's probably gonna happen. And I imagine my grandkids are gonna be like, hey, Gramps, what the fuck is Gamergate? I keep hearing about it from these retards. And it's like, don't worry, grandkids. Fuck them niggas. I don't know what else to say. Has bestiality always been historically so taboo? Why? It doesn't result in pregnancy. Did it result in diseases? Did humans evolve to get so repulsed from touching genitals with other species? Stop fucking animals. Now this next one, I'm not going to go hard in the paint on this gentleman because he's a fan of the podcast I'm a part of, the Snark Tank. He listened to it, and this is what he has to say. These podcasts get better every week, though I really wish I could have a convo with some black guy about how Mass Effect Andromeda is better than the original trilogy, or for him to at least give it another chance. Broham, thank you for listening to the podcast, but it is sacrilege for you to say that Andromeda is better than the original trilogy. Look, the combat is pretty fun, but the characters suck. And when it comes to BioWare, it's all about the characters. Seriously, the combat is kind of second tier, to be honest. If the combat's awesome, it's like a perfect game. Kind of like Mass Effect 2, why it's one of the best games ever created. You have a stacked roster full of amazing characters. Some duds, but you have like 12 different people. And most of them are very interesting, very just to capture you, and you just love them to death. That's a huge thing about the BioWare, the whole universe, just basically everything that they created, all their IPs. It's all about that shit. And so when it comes down to Andromeda, I just didn't connect with any of the characters. They're trash to me. Well, I'm back. My battery died. Hopefully the scenery doesn't look too different. So let's carry on. Hot takes inbound. Billie Eilish has absolutely no range as a singer, and her music is geared toward black-eyed, shadow-wearing pussies that shop at Hot Topic and think that Juice WRLD was an amazing rapper. Normally, Sweeney has the worst takes of all time, but I don't completely disagree with this. And the reason is because when I first heard Billie Eilish, it was probably the summer of 2018. And I was chilling with the girl that I was with at the time, and she showed me Lovely, and she showed me Ocean Eyes. And I thought, wow, this girl is very talented. To the point where I even did a metal cover of Lovely. So if I was introduced to Billie Eilish by her new album, the stuff Bad Guy and the other stuff that has come out, I would think the same thing, because those songs don't do anything for me. I know there's emotions in there, but it does feel very flat to me, very emotionless, very whispery, kind of like she's like the yin yang twins of like this emo pop stuff. And look, I've given a lot of this modern emo rap, emo trap shit, I've given a lot of it an honest shot. And I think I liked Juice WRLD as a person when he was still on this earth. I think I liked what he was kind of trying to do, some of the influences he was bringing in. But the thing is, I'm just not a fan of the auto-tune and the trap beat shit. Most of all, it just doesn't mix well to me. It doesn't sound good. I really think that people are listening to fucking trash overall. I think it's really sad that a lot of stuff is floating to the top that shouldn't be there. I think there's a few exceptions. I think XXXTentacion was actually a really talented guy. I think he could sing really well. I think he had some really good ideas. I really did like a lot of his intensity. But not everybody should be doing this shit, man. There's a lot of people that are throwing autotune on and then they're just being emotional, and then all of a sudden all these angsty teenagers are like, that's some good shit, you know? We went through a lot of that in the nu metal era. There was a lot of garbage, a lot of hard garbage, but there was a lot of good stuff as well. So there's a gentleman named Jonas Jodic. I don't know how to pronounce that. You know, the O has the umlaut and stuff. I don't know how to pronounce any of that stuff. But he is an artist, and he put some stuff out there that was pretty cool. And turns out that Aaron Carter got his grimy hands on it, and he had this to say. Hey Aaron Carter, you are using my artwork to promote your merchandise. I have not given you permission to do so. My art is being commercially exploited by people on a daily basis. We artists have rights too. And Aaron Carter has the audacity to reply with this. You should have taken it as a compliment, dick. A fan of mine sent this to me. Oh, here they go again. The answer is no. This image has been made public and I'm using it to promote my clothing line, AaronCarter.com. Guess I'll see you in small claims court, fuckery. I don't think he could have came up with a worse response. Like, I was trying to think, what could you say that would be worse than that in that scenario? He said everything wrong. Every single word in that fucking response was wrong. Alright guys, I think it's time to wrap this thing up. I got one last tweet for you that is just so great, that is just so delicious. So, I don't know the context above, but I have a screenshot of this woman saying this. Me racing to the nearest Wally World. And I've used this GIF quite a bit, you know, it shows that car kind of going crazy, zipping through cars in the lanes. And I've used it usually, like, say if a girl like says something flirtatious or something, and I'll be like, oh, I'm on my way, or I'm coming over, and I'll put that. It's just a little silly thing to do. But the best thing is, Walmart replied to it, and this is real, ladies and gentlemen. This is not fake. This is what Walmart replied with. Hey, Paul Walker, click it or ticket. what I want to believe is that whoever's running that Walmart Twitter page was being completely insensitive, which is pretty hilarious. But what happened is that, oh, they were just using Paul Walker as an example because of Fast and Furious, driving really fast, and not because of the fact that, he died in a car crash. But the funny thing is, there's a ton of people in the Fast and Furious franchise. Could have said, hey, Vin Diesel. Could have picked anyone else. Hey, Roman Pierce. No, Paul Walker. And that could not have worked out more beautifully. Unfortunately, they took it down because they realized how insensitive it was. And I'm like, damn, man. I loved that moment. That was, oh boy. That was magic right there. That's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button. Goes a long way. You can share it too, or you can hit up the links in the description if you want to support me. And I want to give a big shout out to my hardest of our patrons. Adam Sains, you're an insane bitch. Brett Liskowski, your last name stupid, change it. Jacob Stewart, you sound like a basic bitch. Catherine Rothman, you hot hoe. And Mike Gates, you dirty, filthy, hippie bitch. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I appreciate it. If you guys want to support me as well, the Patreon link's in the description. It's probably in one of these cards too. Thanks again. Have a good one.